Vibra Finance, we seek out the hidden gems in cryptocurrency. We will tailor your portfolio to work for you. Are you ready to transition your investments from traditional markets to cryptocurrency? Are your coins staked and earning interest? Are you overwhelmed with all the jargon in crypto? Is your portfolio underperforming and you want to reposition into consistent winning blue chip coins and viable projects? Do you feel like you missed out on DeFi, Metaverse, and NFTs? Here at Vibra Finance, we provide you with the data, skills, and tools you need to stay on top of the digital asset market. Vibra Finance. We are the future of crypto.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Vibra Live. A little early today on a Saturday morning. You gotta do this when you are working with people around the world. That's the beautiful thing about crypto, is it's not just one country. It's everybody can tune in no matter where you are and bring in adoption. That's what we're trying to do here at Vibra Finance, as well as our friends over at love.io. I want to bring Anders up. How you doing, my friend?
Thank you. I'm very well. How are you going in New York?
It's beautiful. The sun is shining. So
Yeah.
I'm an early riser, so I don't mind the early.
Yeah, me too. I love mornings. This the best time of the day. It's very refreshing and so on. Now it's here in Asia now for me in Phuket. It's 9 o'clock, so it's a bit late, but I'm sure we will have a good time.
Definitely. We were talking a little bit in the background about how just Asia is so much of the volume and traffic is over there, and just kind of being in the mix of it versus over here where we got politicians fighting and arguing and just making a clown show of it.
Yeah. No, it is. It is. As we talked in the back room, I believe it's around 75% of all crypto activity is done here in Asia, and of course, Tron is huge in China, where I spent 10 years working and so on as well, and. But it is in every country. Here in Thailand, it's also massive, and it have a different function because they are so quick in adopting different technologies here in Asia. You know, it's all you pay with these Chinese app in China, you know, and so on. Everything is with your phone, and that crypto is becomes like very natural for them here too. So it is, a lot of things that is happening, and that also brings talent as well. So. That's why we are here in Phuket. It have become like a crypto hub with a lot of these crypto nomads from all over the world that comes here, and then they many of them are on the beach in the mornings, and then they work at the big. We have a big crypto coffee place. It's massive, where everyone is gathering, and it's a lot going on here in Asia. And also when we go to these meetups or crypto conferences, it's also so many people. I was a few weeks ago in Dubai on the we Love.io we sponsored, and Blockchain Live and Token 2049 as well. Mm-hmm. And it was so many people in the whole of the conventions, and I think it was over 400 side events as well. So it's really huge. So Asia is a good place to be, and yeah, it's my background and it's not many people maybe in uh, the ecosystem or in the hexagon community that really know so much about love.io and what we do. We have been really focusing on the outside to bring adoption in uh, to Polchain and to love.io. We see you put on the screen there, or just see so the internet is working here.
Yeah, if I could,
Are
if
you?
you could, I can pull your screen up if you want to share whatever you want to do.
No. I didn't share. Did you share now, or yeah, or?
Oh, I could share yours if you want to, if you have something that you wanted to pull up.
No. I am
Okay.
fine. Yeah. So so that have been our main focus, and my background. I have spent most of my professional life in Asia. I came as a young student to China first and studied Chinese language. And after that, I was working with Swedish multinational companies that was at that time moving to China. Now everyone is moving from China, but at that time it was very, very popular. So I was there working as first as a young student and helped them. I was a business student, but speaking fluently Mandarin, Chinese. I was basically helping them with everything from translating to establishing offices and factories and everything. And then in the early 2000, I was co-founded one of my successful startups. I've been in quite many startups, but this was very successful. It was a company in the real estate and realtor industry, doing digital floor plans and virtual
Mm.
walkthroughs of homes and so on that we set up in first in China, and then we expanded the business to 11 countries, and it became quite big. And then News Corp bought the company, the owners of Fox News in the US and so on. And so we did an exit. So I stopped working. I was building that company for over 10 years and started in the early 2000. And that was after that I got time on really getting into Bitcoin first. I discovered Bitcoin already 2010. Bought my first Bitcoin together with a friend, and we did mining as well in the early days. And 2011, sold most of our position at $22, and we were very happy at that time that we made 22x on our investments. And then after that, I was in and out in Bitcoin, and then of course Ethereum came. We launched 2015. I was involved in that too. Was a co-founder of 24/7 Block Labs, also based here in Asia, where we working with a lot of ICOs and helping them with everything from technical solutions with devs and so on, because it was quite new with solidity coding and so on, and also the venture part. And since I had a successful exit before and also had a good network when it comes to funds and venture capital, that was also a big part in 24/7 Block Labs. So love was actually something that many people early thought that this is just a meme coin, and launching and so on Polchain, but it's actually a project that have been a lot of thoughts behind and a lot of work trying to use some of the concepts that made social media platforms successful, and especially one concept called blitzscaling, which basically all of what we have done now with 30 devs and building all our apps and so on is based on that concept. And that is first is to use the ticker. So love as a ticker is very strong because that can be used in so many different areas. You can micro tip with love, and that is something that Bitcoin was very good in the beginning before the transactions became too expensive and so on. There was many YouTubers and streamers in the early YouTube days that had the Bitcoin address, and then people could send the Bitcoin to them and so on. But then when Bitcoin became more expensive, then it was hard to microtip. And that also led to the big division in Bitcoin when we had Bitcoin Cash that forked away from Bitcoin, and our own Richard, he was in the Bitcoin Core camp and so on. And it was and Bitcoin Cash, they wanted to get this back to the old days of Bitcoin where you could do like micro tipping and so on. But we were looking at this to use like the ticker love, and we bought the domain name love.io very early as well, and was thinking that this ticker you can use in a lot of these areas where blockchain technology and censorship resistant, that you can send, like peer to peer money with no one that can take custody of it. And of course, we have seen many examples of that, and the strength of Bitcoin, that you can move money if you are in a country that have high inflation and you're losing your money, then the cryptocurrency works in a very good way. That you can move. And so we saw that the ticker love is very good in that. And then of course e-commerce is also a problem, that we have had decentralized platforms, and of course Amazon is one of the biggest that basically have all the power to all these small salespeople, and that is selling on Amazon. And the worst thing with Amazon is that if you have a product that actually sells very well and you make some money on it, then it doesn't take long until Amazon start to sell it themselves. So they are competing with their own customers. So it's really a bad model. So it needs to be like a centralized version there, and of course this, when it comes to like a reward system for brands and so on. And so we started to see that with these different models, for example, how Amazon became Amazon. So they use the concept of blitzscaling. And what blitzscaling is, and it have been written so many books about this, it's basically to grow a network by itself. And cryptocurrency have been very hard to grow like cryptocurrencies, and we have been doing this now for like 20 years, and it is very hard to grow. While Facebook, they took like 1 year for Facebook, and they had hundreds of millions of users. And all of them use this concept that you have something that can grow the network by itself. And Amazon, and now you're showing Lovify that is working today like so good, getting crypto adoption and getting people to Polchain, and we are just like going on gear one in the engine. This can accelerate so fast. So how Amazon did it, if I take that first. So Amazon had very hard to grow during those first years in the early 2000s, and they changed from being an online bookstore to trying then to become like the biggest market place in the world. So they put in a lot of money into market Amazon, the name Amazon, everywhere, in wherever they could market. I think that they had, like over $100 million to market the brand name. But the people didn't join Amazon when they did the marketing. And what happened then? Amazon basically lost almost like 90% of their value on NASDAQ. In 90% went Amazon down, and they didn't know how to do it. And PayPal had the same problem. They also tried to market PayPal as a brand. Come and join the financial revolution, join PayPal. But people, I don't take time to register, and so on. But then they implemented this concept of blitzscaling, and that is to grow a network by itself, as we do here with Lovify.com. What is that? So how Amazon did it was that, okay, we forget about this marketing Amazon as a brand name. What we should do now instead is to do a cooperation with Google and be listing so many products on our website, and then these will be indexed in Google. And what happened then? So 2004, when AdWords came and Google started to make money, then Amazon products came directly into AdWords and got indexed and so on. And then they were basically capturing all the searches. So if you now you were a little boy back then, I believe, but people at that time, when they were like searching for a product, I want to buy this perfume, for example, and that was a good price. And then when they clicked in Google, they find the perfume that they want. Then they were redirected to Amazon. What is this Amazon? Yeah, I heard about this company. So I have to register here now. I have to fill in my name, everything, and I have to, I do it now then because I want to buy this perfume. So that's how Amazon got users, because then they had their email of all their customers, and they could start to send out, now we have a special deal on this, come and buy, and so on. So when Amazon started with their blitzscaling model, Jeff Bezos, he could just sit back and just like wait on the network just growing by itself. Mm-hmm. And so it did, and now they are the world one of the world largest companies. And PayPal the same. They were close to bankrupt in the early 2000s. So and they said, okay, we stopped with this. They had like Times Square advertisement, come and join PayPal. But it didn't work, and but then they started to send money. So you received an email and said, you have received $10 from a person and since you knew that person or that company, that's that person. Then you click on the email because you know that person, and then I have to register to this PayPal. And that's how they could sit back, Elon Musk and the guys in PayPal. They could just like sit back and then just see the network growing. And so all of these is working on that, someone, and then you accept it and so on. And what we are doing now to get like crypto adoption from people is that we have then spent a lot of dev time in integrating the different drop shippers. In the US, we have drop shippers with 5 different fulfillment centers. We will start to list products later on Amazon as well, but we start now, and just working with these big drop shippers, and then working with Google and Facebook ads and so on. And we're working with like famous brands. So we have over 100,000 perfumes and cosmetics and sunglasses, as you said, and all of that. And these products then, we have only one markup, and that is 10% by order of love. That is given back as a reward to the person that is purchasing a product. So that means that when they want to claim, if there is someone finding, oh, I have to buy my new Dior perfume that I always use, and now I do a Google search to find that Dior perfume, and then they go in for Google, and then they say, oh, Loveify.com, they have the cheapest, and normally we are the cheapest on many, since we only have 10% markup. So that means that they click, and then they, as a normal e-commerce site, they buy the product, and then they get an email that you also have 10% rewards, love rewards, in love cryptocurrency. And okay, so then they say, oh, how can I claim this? Then of course there is another email coming, how to claim your love. You have to download a wallet, a MetaMask wallet. You do this, add Chain, do love, and then you have that. And when you have done that, you send back your wallet address, and we send you love. Maybe many, they were just caring for the perfume in the first place, but since we have their email, since this work as a normal e-commerce site, that also means that we can communicate just like Amazon did with their customer base that they're building up. That okay, are you not going to claim your love now because now love have increased by this percentage and so on, and then and it doesn't matter, it can be like from 1 year from now, they will still get this. So that is how
Okay. So it doesn't
this
expire.
model works. It doesn't expire, and every time someone is buying, that is directly a buy order. So that's why we on PulseX, for example, we have a lot of these small buy orders, and that is for love. That is like the whole time is a buy order of love. So that also keeps up a sort of a buy pressure. But as I said, we are only on gear 1 or half of gear. So it's we will really take this up, and this will be like a massive crypto adoption tool. And this system can only work with the ticker love, that you get like love back from a brand, and so on. You cannot have it, with most cryptocurrencies, because people are, what's that, But love, since that have that love rewards, that a brand actually paying back, and so on to the customer, it's excellent. So we're very excited with Loveify, and we also starting with that your colleague Lindsay is looking at as well. So we will also start with some kind of like direct marketing, just what Richard Hart loves, like direct marketing, and that means that we will set up when it comes to like home sales, that since all of these brands and products is used by most of the women especially around the world. And so that means that they can look and then they find their a brand that they are using, and then they can buy it for probably the cheapest price. And then they also get love cryptocurrency, and then they will take time because someday they want to claim it. If you got some Bitcoin 2009, in a system like this, I
Yeah.
bet you would claim that today, And
Oh yeah.
so so it is a fantastic adoption tool that we have here, and we will increase. We have 100,000 products now. We will have 1 million products. Take in other products, and then what we also have experienced now in the very, very early days is that we have got brands contacting us and sending, how can I list my products on Lovify? And
Awesome.
that is so cool as well. We have not started with it now, but we can do that, and then we can say to them, yeah, what you do is that you have to buy love, and
Yep.
then you have to give 10% back to the customer in reward. So then we get the buy pressure there. We get more people joining and more crypto adoption, more products. So this is directly decentralizing e-commerce, and as I said, it's and it wouldn't be possible to do if we wouldn't have had Pulsechain. So we had a big think tank in 24/7 Block Labs that was working with these concepts since like 2017, and we were like thinking if we were going to launch it. We couldn't launch it on Ethereum, of course. And then Uniswap came, I think 2018. Because we wanted it to be like completely decentralized and so on. And we had some plans of launching it on BNB chain, but then Richard announced that he was forking the whole of Ethereum, and then we said
Mhm.
now we put like all the resources, all our devs, everything, and we create this. And that is what we've been doing. So we have like Lovify.com is one app, and then we also have uh, uh, we have connected since Love, the same contract is on Ethereum. It is on. We have put it on BNB chain. We have it on Base as well, and this is fantastic because that means that we also can tap in to different like trading communities, and people can just bridge wherever they want, and but our dApps is like first they get like love on Pulsechain, and of course it is uh, uh, have been like a sell pressure, as we all know, in the ecosystem on PulseX and Pulsechain, but we don't see it as a huge issue for us, more than our liquidity goes down a bit, because it's like this is a long play, and we believe that we really strongly believe that that Pulsechain and PulseX and Richard have a master plan to really make that happen, and we know the fundamentals are there. We just hit over how many wallets was it? It's like millions of wallets now. Over 1 million wallet now on Pulsechain, and that's like quicker than Cardano and Solana and everyone went from. So we have like the fundamental when it comes to like the activity on the chain, And then we have that have not been seen before, that we have the SAC funds and so on. And also, since Richard is very long in the game, and and many respect him, and many big Ethereum whales as well. Of course, we have our famous God whale in our ecosystem that really believe in everything that Richard does. So we have so much accumulated money that will start to buy when the time is right, when this shakeout is done, and so on. And then I believe that the pulse chain will be our main driver up. And since we have the peg between, and then also if we go back to Hart's law, that liquidity goes
Everywhere.
together, that
Yeah.
means that we will have a massive upswing with the setup as we have. So so we have uh, been building, and we are finished with it almost. Now we are working on a wallet as well. And we will have an infrastructure that will be connected to base as well, because then we get the base 108 million wallets as well,
Hmm.
and so on. And so it will be, but we're seeing it as a huge one ecosystem with all these different chains, since we have the peg already set between. And so we are and fantastic. And it's also fantastic for us because we got a quite high valuation very early when we launched, a quite high market cap. But with now that the Pulsex have gone down, then our market cap is also down now. I think it's around 15, 16 million, which is also perfect, because we have uh, several big investors. We have some whales that they have already supporting in us, but now it's also like a good time for them to get in. So we are very, very excited to have come this far, and we really believe that we are on something that will be like really, really good.
Yeah. No,
Now I
it's there's so
talk so
much.
long.
Oh, oh, no, that's good. I
Yeah,
like a walkthrough of everything. I mean, you touched on a lot of great points, and I like the base integration there, because I've been doing consulting. I've been onboarding people into Hex and Pulse Chain for 4 years now, and it's not easy. A lot of these
no,
people think, oh, you just walk up to somebody and say, "I'll just sell everything and put it into Pulse Chain. Just only buy Hex and Pulse Chain." People don't want to hear that. So I found that
no,
you got to find common ground with people. If this person likes Dogecoin, this person likes
yeah,
Chainlink. Oh, great. When you make $1 million on Chainlink or Doge, then maybe think about moving some over to Pulse Chain. It moves
yeah,
last, it moves later in the
yeah,
cycle. Filter your profits over, and now you have
yeah,
two coins that can run. And people are like, oh yeah, that's actually sounds like a good idea. So and
yeah,
it works that way. So with base, I noticed, I saw that going over there and messing around and talking to people, it was easier to get them over to Pulse Chain once you
yeah,
find common ground with people. So I like that
yeah,
option, where if someone new buys a
yeah,
item or something, if they have the option to go to Coinbase or to MetaMask. I don't know if you're going to have that option like through Coinbase's wallet there, but if that could happen, I think
yeah,
that would be super beneficial, because you have that peg with all the coins. So if it starts
yeah,
running hard on Pulse Chain, it's going to run hard. It doesn't matter. You're going to get those green candles.
exactly. Yeah,
And
it is, So we have that is like the Hart's law, and it is amazing what we see, because, as you say, whatever it is, and that was the same for Hex. Green candles is the best marketing. For every crypto is like green candles, and that is why I am not too worried with the downfall now for us, because we are with the PLX, since our main liquidity pair have been PLX. We are not worried, because this will just bring the green candles even higher, and so on. And when it starts, when the funds and so starts, plus that we keep it up with our daily adoption, with Lovify and so on. So we are not worried. But when that happens, it will be fantastic to have this peg between, because basically the only one of the best crypto marketing, and you probably are very familiar with this, is to do like trending on Dex Screener, and then the different chains, and since we have on 4 different chains, that means that everyone that is using Base today, they will see love green candle on the Dex Screener, and the same on the BNB chain, the same on Ethereum, which is huge as well. And so we see this as a massive advantage for us. Plus, that also means that we can concentrate, like we can do AMAs in the Binance community in a very easy way, because we have love BEP20. And it's much harder for Pulse Chain if we are going to do AMAs in the Binance groups, and so on. And they will probably, if we are saying that, they will no, you scammers, you are not welcome here, whatever. So it's like very hard to there. But we have Love BEP20. And so on, and so we have that easy access in to talk, and in the combination when this happens, as I said, I think that we have reached the bottom now in PLX and so on. But when we start to move up, we will have beautiful green candles, plus our adoption model with Lovify and so on, and I really believe that this will be like very good in the end, So that's like keeps us really focused and so on, and doing all we do. And also the crypto winds are changing. Like now we see in the US, and what happens, that it maybe now if it becomes like change of government in the autumn, that we and he is Mr. Trump is really mean that he will make US as number one in crypto, then that is extremely interesting as well for the future. And I have real hope that will happen. And many people, they are worried, like with the court case with Richard, and so on. But it's with that, I would say, because we have also put in a lot of energy into investigating this. It is first is still no felony charges or anything. It's no DOJ that have taken it up. It's still a hearing. It's a civil case and so on. Yeah. And SEC have not won one case. Plus that we saw now that Pulse Chain, Ethereum is deemed not to be a security, and that means Pulse Chain is not a security either. Yeah. So it is a lot of have been a lot of like FUD and so on, and then I would also say one thing, because I think it have been a little, and it hurts, like small holders, that get scared and have invested and sacrificed and so on. Even in the worst case scenario, that there will not be change of government and they would charge for felony or whatever, pulse chain still exists, and
Yeah.
it is still there, and maybe it will even be more successful if that would happen, because then it would be like so much media, and everything on it. But it's a code that exists, and the funds, there are like team members that probably will allocate and pump from the SAC wallets, and so on anyway, because this is part of a huge master plan that is happening. It's really interesting to see, Richard, what he is planning with this. So it is just to chill
The
and
new
watch.
Federal Reserve.
Yeah, it is. I really believe. It's
It
he
is.
have
It's
so many cards to play.
He does, and it's the thing. When I saw last cycle when Ripple got sued in 2020, and I saw FUD articles coming out from Chainlink saying, "Are we next to be sued?" and the
Yeah,
price dropped 20%, and I found out it was internally Chainlink. They fudded themselves intentionally to drive the
yeah,
price down so they could buy up more. And this
yeah,
was in
yeah,
late 2020. So when I
yeah,
saw that,
yeah,
I was like, okay, everything is
yeah.
fair game here. You can't take anything you see that's published, at face
No,
value. You got to go and investigate this stuff and look
yeah,
into it, because right now
yeah,
everybody is so scared about all the legislation, this and that. Well, the
yeah,
Fit 21 bill that Biden is going to sign into law, that has
yeah,
in it what you have to do to become a decentralized commodity. It shows you clearly,
yeah,
if you do X, Y, and Z and you follow
yeah,
this, you will be a decentralized security. If you don't, you will end up a commodity, or
yeah,
you will be a commodity if you're fully
yeah,
decentralized. If you're not,
yep,
you're a
yep,
security. And it's already all there in the law. And we're just
yeah,
sitting back in the United States and watching around the world and see what everyone else is doing. And even with Micah and in Europe, they're starting to step back now. They realize this tyrannical, we're going to enforce everything. It's not going to work. People are going
yeah,
to pack up and leave.
yeah.
And I think it's
It,
all going to work out.
Yeah, it will, and we have seen like the changes now that happen, and with Trump last week, that he actually
Yeah,
goes out and says that he loves crypto and he wants US to be number one, and of course he is a favorite to win the election, so that's good for crypto. Uh, but not even that. That also makes the Democrats to change, that they have to
exactly.
back off, and that's why the Ethereum ETF had to be approved, And I bet you that why Michael Saylor was so sure that that he would that it would never be an Ethereum ETF is probably he have heard that from Democrats saying, "Oh, don't worry, it will only be Bitcoin, never Ethereum," But then they had to change in the last minute. They had to change because of political reasons. So that also changed the Democrats. They start to understand this now, that crypto doesn't
Mhm.
go away, and it will be something we are talking about. Internet of value, and this is something for the future. Plus, which is really interesting, that have not been discussed enough, but I think it was one of your politicians that brought it up, one Republican a couple of weeks ago. It is that the main buyer of US Treasury today is Tether,
Heather. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like when I was in China, when I came to China like 20 years ago, then China started, that was their plan. They were going to conquer the world. That was through selling cheap goods, getting a lot of money in dollars, and then they bought U.S. Treasury for the money, and then they became, like the largest treasury holder. That is what
Hmm.
we are seeing now with crypto. And so it becomes, you cannot ban that. That means that if they are taking away that option, that means that no one will finance and pay for the U.S. national debt.
Yeah.
So it's and that will probably be a much bigger discussion area. That this is actually like something really, really huge. And Tether is the most profitable crypto enterprise in the world. I think it was like 4 or 5 billion that they
In a
made.
quarter.
Like yeah, in a quarter. It's crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is I think it's I kind of fell for that trap a little bit that Tether was going to get sanctioned. They were going to come hard after it. But now you start
Yeah,
to see it. The government's relying on it with Japan and China now
yeah,
selling huge amounts of treasuries. It's just putting more strain on that. So they're going to rely on Tether more and more and more. And I think it
yeah,
was just they want to see USDC. They want to push USDC out, and they
yeah,
want that to be the stable coin because it's Circle. It's who's backing
yeah.
it.
It is, but yeah, it is like yeah, the value is there, and so it's like a shift of value, just like China did with the US through that model of like selling. So now it becomes, and this is, yeah, it's only the early beginning. I think Tether is printing and printing and printing. Yeah, it was a few billions again
Yeah.
just last week, and it is just getting more and more, and we are just like in the early beginning in that, and so it is a very very nice model, and I see a lot of that model when it comes to like value uh, in like Paul chain, and how we are now Richard is like linking the value with Ethereum and so on, that we have the foundation, as I say, but the sack wallet or the pump wallet, and that is yeah, very interesting, and to go through, and there is a lot of good analysis in the community. I don't know if you have followed this with PDI and
Oh yeah.
Make a DAO and so on, and
Hmm.
I think it's fascinating to see, because I see that that could be a lot of truth how Richard thinks there,
Yeah.
and I think that the only way, of course, Richard was successful even before he started Hex and so on. But I think that there always have been a question how he would ever be able to like cash out or be like really really rich, because he cannot, if one hex is moving from the original address, then there would be like a scream in the whole community. But
Yeah.
with this system that he is it looks like he is planning with MakerDAO and with PDAI. That is very interesting, because that means that it's like value structure. He can do
Yeah.
like a stable coin, and then have all the hex and pulse that was sacrificed in the end of the sacrifice could be like a collateral to the stable coin, and that yeah, very
And
interesting
then
to look
and
at that.
plus it's a great way. I mean, if I'm Richard, I don't want my billions on other people's chains. I want to figure out a way where I can have my money on my own blockchain. So I think just
Yeah,
him being in control of everything versus letting other people have it, leverage it. I just like what he's doing. And you starting to see he's such a trendsetter now. Aave or
yeah,
MakerDAO getting rid of
yeah,
Maker Coin and making it meme tokenomics.
yeah,
Everyone now is
yeah,
starting to start their own
yeah,
blockchains. Richard is 5 years ahead of everybody else, and people,
yeah,
we
yeah.
just enough people don't see that, and I think it's
No,
a good thing though. It'll weed out the people that don't
yeah,
belong here. And it takes a
yeah,
lot to see what he's doing. It's so next level. I mean, the privacy layer he's building on here now.
yeah,
If you're a business or something, you want to test stuff out, you can do it without the
yeah,
with it's that's how it should work. I should have the right to
yeah,
use something privately and just test it out
yeah,
with you not seeing what I'm doing. It's not that you're breaking the law. That's just you have the right to do that. And
yeah,
he's just it's amazing, and I think we're going to be very surprised. A lot of people are going to be surprised with some of the
yeah,
stuff that comes out in the next 6-12 months.
yeah. It is, and yeah, I always look at like the logic in it, and just as you say, there is a lot of logic and strategy, and also how he have talked before. Plus, that I know for a fact that Richard uh, yeah, is very close to make a DAO, if not personally, which he maybe is probably geographically very close. You know, the founder is
Mhm.
Danish, I'm Swedish, and Aave is Finnish, and I don't say that Richard lives in Finland. Maybe he does, but uh, it could be, you know, like
Yep.
also an interesting thought, because I don't think that Richard is just like sitting in home the whole days. You know, he have a good network, you know, with other crypto people and his teams, you know, and so on. So I feel that this is something that could be like a massive for our whole ecosystem and so on. And that
Yeah.
means
His
that if that goes through, that means that yeah, he and his team and everyone can cash out without him selling a hex or a pulse. You know,
bingo.
it is bingo. So it's just value distribution. You know, and so it's very interesting.
Yeah, it is. And it's I like just what you're doing too is it mottos what Pulse Chain. It's next level. And I think a lot of the hatred and the FUD and that comes from people knowing it's just better. And it's only a matter of time before what they have or what they thought was the future becomes obsolete. And I think that's a lot of
Yeah.
the problem when people are going to move over here and not want to say it. But I really kind of like Richard not being streaming here because people that come over to Pulse Chain or into the community, you don't see Richard. He's not here. He's not around. So you don't even think about it.
No.
People are here using it and they might not even know it's a Richard Hart product. People
No.
demonize Hex. So I think
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. It is. It is. And uh, it is, of course. Uh, uh, like difficult for Richard, and probably uh, most of it is legal that he can't do it when he is in a court case, and probably his
Mhm.
lawyers have said that it's not good if you stream now. So that could be a reason, but at the same time, Richard have that long term crypto and thinking and blockchain thinking. Since he is an
Mhm.
early Bitcoiner, and I am also an early Bitcoiner, and been in the space, and like everything is to when it is to lock in monetary energy, grow your network, uh, uh, have, of course, if we go through like Bitcoin, since as I mentioned to you, when I came back from China, after 10 years in China, I bought a house on a Swedish island on the west coast, and probably like 2,000 people on the island, and I was looking, and I had some issues with the Swedish tax authorities, since I did an exit, and had some money, and I heard about this like internet money that had come, and I was like, what is this? Internet money cannot be traced, and everything. So went in, and I had a look, and was one guy in New York that you could buy that have a website, and then you basically just transferred funds to him, and then you got Bitcoin on your computer, So it was like very, and I think it was, around like nine in those weeks when I discovered it. It was like 9 cents, 13 cents, one Bitcoin, and
And
I
that
had that.
and you said you made, you were like, I sold it and I at
Yeah,
$22 or
yeah.
whatever, and you
So
were
yeah.
happy.
So then,
But that's the thing, there
yeah.
was
But
nothing else back then that you could even a
no.
22x in 2010 was unheard of.
Yeah. So for me, like had that have been, like in the IT, and did an exit, and so on, like to get those kinds of money. But then, of course, in the volatility back then was like crazy, and no one really understood what is the value of this, like internet money, Bitcoin. And but then we start to see 2011. That was very interesting, and that was because at that time WikiLeaks was like so popular, and Julian Assange, that that is sitting in prison in United States,
Mhm.
in England. Visa and Mastercard went in, and then they said that they didn't couldn't allow WikiLeaks to get like money from Visa or Mastercard donations, and he was like, how can and no banks, couldn't send like money to WikiLeaks, and then he just went out and said, okay, then I have to do Bitcoin, and put up a Bitcoin address on the WikiLeaks website, and that day, when that was announced, Bitcoin went up to $1. Bang! And everyone was thinking, why uh, was this happening? That Bitcoin went up just because they started to accept it. And that was because around like 40,000 people, they had to buy Bitcoin to be able to send money
Mhm.
to WikiLeaks. So that was like the first real use case that blockchain or crypto was doing. And then of course the Silk Road a few years later, then that became like the Bitcoin and Metcalfe's law, bigger network, use cases, and that
Mhm.
meant like the price went up because you have a limited supply, and that is like the long term crypto philosophy, what creates a value. And then of course we hex came, and was called Bitcoin hex in the beginning, because Richard, he was going to do Bitcoin on Ethereum, was like the way, and then the different kinds of use case that you actually could have, like an interest that they was paying a yield when you were locking in for long term gain, and that is like crypto for me, and that is what we have been doing and are doing with Love.io. So we are building adoption tools. We bringing in like use cases, utility that is solving like problems with technology. And then we have like these, as I said, the adoption tools that follows, so the network increase. And then what Richard and what he is working on now, probably as we discussed, is with monetary energy, how to be able to gain like monetary energy from different networks, and so on. And that is what we're doing with our peg in the different networks and so on. And then with Hart's law, that means also that we will gain this the same value on all the different chains. So it's
Yeah, and Richard too, I remember last cycle when the entire market was red for a couple weeks and Hex was just green. It was the only coin that was pumping
yeah, yeah,
for
yeah,
a
yeah,
couple
yeah,
weeks. He would do that. So imagine
yeah,
now this cycle we get a big dip and Binance on base, everything's going down, but Richard decides to pump Pulse Chain. So
yeah,
Love just holds its or keeps
yeah,
pumping. Now
yeah,
all of a sudden on
yeah,
the
yeah,
deck screeners, you start to see Love
exactly.
pumping and
Yeah,
people can say, "Oh man, my coin is pumping hard over here. It's on base. I
yeah,
can
yeah,
literally bridge it over to Pulse Chain and go
yeah,
buy whatever I wanted to, or I can go over to
yeah,
Binance and get whatever I want." Like it's so
exactly.
creative to do that. I don't think people understand how
No,
how
yeah,
impactful and helpful that's going to be for new people that don't know how to use bridges. They don't know how to use this
yeah,
stuff. It's all here where you can do it
yeah.
yourself, and then I love
It
that.
is
I
good.
really like it.
Yeah, thank you. And yeah, and it is as you say, with this, like because many are looking at this the same, and that also proof that we got from Binance and Kraken last week that now they will let people list, and they are working. Of course, they seeing that dexes will be like the main thing, and people are moving
Mhm,
away from centralized exchanges and so on. And Base and Coinbase, they are looking the same way, but of course they will provide like infrastructure. But and which is very fortunate is that they will probably also connect their DEXs directly to their wallet infrastructure and
mhm,
the on and off ramps and so on. And so that, of course, as we see, so that will be like amazing for Lovify too,
mhm,
when that they receive like a cashback with decentralizing e-commerce, and then they receive cash back that increases in value if they don't touch it, if they don't want to touch it, or they are too lazy to learn about how to download a wallet. They will just like see it growing up. It's still a buy order. Every time
yep,
someone is buying, we put in a buy order of love, so that is extremely interesting to like combining adoption tools, marketing. Like we are focusing on this marketing, and as we say, green candles is always like the best marketing tool, and we are doing
mhm,
that with Hart's law, with all our different love on the different chains, and get like the snowball effect and the machinery going, and we are looking at these we our vision or main goal is that we want to be the love that exists in like e-commerce between brands and so on, in reward systems that and we can also implement, like some kind of review system that every product that is get listing in lovify.com must have, be loved and have good reviews and so on
I
and
like
so
it.
on.
I like that. You could kinda
And
take your app and yeah, you can get
yeah,
reviews on there. If it gets us 10 people like it, it's now loved and it's trusted by there's
yeah,
so many things you can do with that. I really
yeah,
like that.
yeah. So it's we can do a lot with that, like decentralized, and then it's like the community, that. that is like the love holders, and that is getting it, and because every brand wants to be loved, and if you are a new brand too, or a new product, as I also envision it, then you have to buy love to your product,
Yeah.
So that means, like, okay, you are new, you have a new product and so on. It's not loved yet. Okay, you have to buy love and then maybe send out free to the network, to, oh, people like it, they get it for
Yep.
free, and then it's like in the network, and then the people can. We can include it, So I see that we have, and also in Dubai on the crypto conference, we have a lot of these like gaming um, games now with big networks, and we was had like one girl that came up to our booth with her team, and they were really interested in integrating love into their game, and because in the like before every gaming project, they wanted to have their own coin, and so on. But there
Yeah.
is a lot of disadvantage of having like your own coin, because that means that they have to be like really create a network, and it have to work other places and so on. But now many of them are thinking. I think Bonk was the first that created systems like that, but they are on Solana, and we are, like a multi-chain. But what we see now is that this network, that they see like, okay, maybe it would be good to integrate like love
Yeah.
into our games, and that means that okay, then we get like network in there as well, and that gains, like more users and so on, and they are like huge networks in many of those games. They are like that girl. They had like 1 million users, I think. I was like, oh my god, So
Yeah.
it's a lot of different areas where we can implement like love reward system, and love will then have like a prize. Will have a good history, green candles, and more want to join, more want to earn love. It's yeah, many different ways. So we're seeing is in this like decentralization. It's back to value to like people, because as every time someone is earning love in cashback as reward, when they're buying on lovify.com, that means that they become almost like a shareholder in Lovify,
Hmm.
or Love network. Like if you buy something from Amazon today, you only do make Jeff Bezos richer.
Yeah.
Because, and they, especially if you sell something on Amazon, then you have to pay like 20% in commission, and so on. So it is a
That's
very
great.
interesting way of looking at things, to with decentralization.
Yeah, and I'd like the
Yeah,
fact that you say everyone has it right now. They in their email that you have their email, so they have that love there. So people that didn't touch it, they bought whatever a couple $100
yeah,
thing, so they got $20 back right now. Okay, well that's not much. Well, in another year from now, you could just do a mass email. Hey, FYI, if anybody spent
yeah,
$200 on Lovify, that $10 you
yeah,
had now is worth
yeah.
whatever X
It
amount,
is,
and I think
yeah,
it'll get people. I don't. I think it's just. I like it. It's just unique. You don't. No
yeah.
one
It
does
is,
that.
yeah, it is,
Everyone
and
says it expires.
yeah, no, and we will start. We will publish that on our website later on as well. So that because everything now, and I think we have around like 100K, a little more, in the Lovify pool, which is like have been like buy orders of love. that is
Mm-hmm.
going like every day, like getting like 10% is like buy orders of love, and then we publishing that on like the website that this is love that is in the Loveify pool, not yet claimed. So then people are you not going to claim now. They're still going up in price because love, of course, in the pool goes up in price. So if they have like $10 on the first buy, and then it goes up to $12, then they can claim $12. So it's still like going up. And if we have like a big run, and which we will have, with the PLX and the monetary energy and so on, then like, okay, now you have $100. We have done 10x now. Are you not going to claim it now? Now you can get your
Yeah,
Dior perfume for free. If you buy it
exactly. Yeah.
with your love. So
Mm.
so it's like a massive marketing too, because you get that direct contact with them, and it makes this like massive like marketing tool, because then they will start to understand what crypto is, and then they see, okay, love, my rewards have gone up last week by 20%. But how can it go up? And then, of course, we are putting in like educational tools. What is cryptocurrency? We are locking in value in the network, and that increase with Metcalfe's law, because it's circulating supply that is out, and so on.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a very, very exciting times ahead. So it
Yeah,
is
you got we have regulation, legislation that's all going to end up working out in our favor. All of the FUD and the, I would say, just the fear people have of crypto and scams and all that stuff will work itself out. And I think you are setting yourself up and at the forefront of where this is all going. Everyone is going to be doing stuff similar to what you're doing. And I think Amazon I think it reached its peak. And from here, it's going to be companies like you guys that are going to be taking business away from them and doing it
yeah.
better and just being more efficient, giving more rewards back to people and creating a community.
Yeah, it is. You are right on the point there, and we're seeing it working already. Like as I said, we are going on half a gear. We are like so slow. We can increase. Like we can put in. Like add on maybe another 2-3%, and put in on advertisements on Facebook, and using all the algorithms. If they have searched
Mm-hmm.
for a Dior perfume, then we know that person have searched, and they're coming up Facebook ads. The same with Google campaigns, and then people, they are buying crypto, they are buying the love token without knowing that they are buying it,
Yeah.
and because it's included in the price, and that means that, okay, you maybe don't claim it today, but you maybe don't claim it in 1 year, but maybe in 2 years' time, when the network is bigger. Plus, I have to say, even if I want them to claim and I want them to adopt, like cryptocurrency, it's good in one way too if they don't claim, because that means that the pool just getting larger and larger, and
Mm-hmm.
not get sold. And so that is also a fantastic thing. Plus that our products, and as I said, we can start to sell. We have a US corporation as well, Loveify Inc. So we can start to sell on Amazon. We can just register as a sales there and put up perfumes on Amazon, for example, and we will many times be like the cheapest of those branded products. So that means that we can get like sales from there, and
Hmm.
so you are so right, and we are decentralizing the network. And as I said, every time someone buys a product, they become like shareholders in the network
Yeah.
because they get love, you know. Just like become like think if Jeff Bezos, he would give a little Amazon share to everyone that buys on
Yep.
Amazon, you know?
Yeah.
So it's the same system, and then yeah, as we believe we're working with like the best ticker, the big that can work in all of these like systems, adoption models, and also works in any country in the world. Like here in Asia, uh, you know, like I think love is probably like the first word in English that anyone that knows, you know. So they are
Yeah.
like love, and you see the K-pop, you know, the Korean K-pop, they are doing this, you know, the hands, you know, the heart.
Yeah.
So it's very like strong and always a smile. Like I've been to over 40 international crypto conferences, and like sometimes it can be like hundreds, if not thousands. It was in Dubai now, but like so many different cryptocurrencies that is launching, and to get people coming and looking what you're doing, it can be very hard for these like smaller cryptocurrencies, and it's normally like Binance, and they get most of the people to their booth, but we are always ticked on the list, you know, like, oh, love.io, what's that? Love, such a good name, you know, love.io, what's that? You know, so they coming and they want to know, you know. So as I say, you know, like I have worked with so many different brand names and in the past, you know, with companies and everything, but this is like far the best name to work with because it's always like a positive feeling, you know, and so on. So,
Yeah, well, that's awesome. And you got the experience. You've been in the industry for 20 plus years around the
yeah,
world. So you see what works, you see what doesn't. And I think you got something really unique here. And I think it's going to continue to just grow. And I really like, I would tell you if there's something that I thought could be better or something like, but everything has so
yeah,
much upside. There's so much potential to it, and just with the marketing with, buy a Gucci bag, earn free crypto. If I saw an ad for that, I would click on it. Free crypto
yeah,
with, Dior
yeah,
perfume like that. I know people are that's going to get people's attention. And we're in the bear market now. I get it. But once these
yeah,
people's opinions of these things flip so fast, like if we
yeah,
get Bitcoin to 80K next week, everybody's going to be so bullish, going crazy. And then you send
yeah,
those ads out. Oh, hey, remember your love you got. And while everyone's going
yeah,
crazy, people will probably open it up. But in the middle of the bear market,
yeah.
no. And
No, and then it's like, and of course we are also in a very special situation. Even if as I said, you know, like we are in the biggest bull in pulse chain ecosystem that will happen, and especially after everything we talked about today, you know, and the fundamentals are here, you know, and everything. But of course, they gone down. You know, like we lost, yeah, so much in the market cap with our PLX pair and so on. And since PLX have gone down, but I am, of course, I have to like do pep talk with my teams and communities. You know what is happening. You know with the price and everything. You know, like yes, but I see it long term, and I just say that I have been when in early Bitcoin days where it could be like
yeah,
not in one day. Now we are talking 3 months down 90%, but in
yeah,
Bitcoin days that was like 90% in one day. It could just like fall. You wake up in the morning and you were happy, you know, you looked at, and then 90% the day after, you know, in the afternoon. So that was like really, and to be able get in and out, and so on. And I believe that we have something really really big and interesting ahead of us, and I'm very happy to be on your stream. It was very nice talking to you today.
Yeah, I'm glad we did because I see Lindsay all the time. She's doing stuff
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Love and
yeah,
Brandon. It. So I was like, I got it. And now I'm glad that I got the full rundown because I really like the idea of it, and I can now talk about it on stream and not sound stupid. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll be showing it and just telling people about updates and
Yeah,
just how that bridge is so unique because
yeah,
people are scared to use it. I get it all the time. Hey, is this the right bridge? Am I doing
yeah,
it? Why am I paying this fee? I did it. I can't
yeah,
find it. Where's my money? It's not there. Okay, you have to go
yeah,
claim it on the other side now. Don't worry, it's there. People
yeah,
just don't, they're
yeah. It
innocent.
is.
Way around that.
Yeah, it is, and doing a bridge is of course not easy, and we yeah, as I said, like we have like the best blockchain devs uh, that you can find, and that is like the reason why I'm based in Asia and have been here. For the past 18 months, just like building with the teams and so on, since we have like the really good devs, and then of course audits and so on, and we have everything have been audited by Hacken.io, which is probably the one of the most reputable auditing firms, and it probably take as long time to audit as it is to build something, and but it's of course like really important, and we had like 10 of 10 security score and so on, and it's all published on GitHub and on Gitbooks, and so it's, but it is, and as we talked about before, but it is very central in our plan and how we build it, and so on. And of course, uh, we could have been much better when it comes to like display, showing all the information and so on the website, and we have been like very much in like in the building phase, and so on, and we didn't need to like raise capital when we started and so on. We've been like in the team in crypto for quite some time, and so on, so we didn't want to uh, be like the best racer in the sacrifice, taking like most money and be the best marketer in the sacrifice, and so on. So we have focused on dev work and doing these different dabs, and really talking a lot about Chain as well. So as I mentioned, I've been to over 40 international conferences talking about Chain with all different. Of course, it's that also have been like challenges with like defending like what we are doing and so on, and so on. It's but for like our ecosystem and so on. But it is I feel like we have a huge potential, and I really really believe in like the master plan that Richard is doing, and so on, and I'm sure everything will work out fine. So I'm very very excited for the future for Love.io and for Chain and PulseX and the whole ecosystem. So it's
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Anders. It was awesome talking to you. I completely agree. I think we're just a little bit early. And I think with time, another 6 to 12 months, the impressions of Richard, Pulse chain,
Yeah.
all that's going to change. And I think people will be calling you the visionary that you were, because I think
Yeah.
you have something special.
Yeah.
And I just, I
Yeah.
know it's going to be successful. You've
Yeah.
put a lot of thought into it. You've done a lot of unique things, and there's so much more upside you can tap into with marketing campaigns, just the way you set it
Yeah.
up. So
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I'm glad we did this. And now I really
Thank you.
understand the vision.
Yeah. Thank you. And yeah, I'm looking forward to coming on next time, and we can talk again. You are really good to talk to as well, and you understand these like the broader things that I'm really pleased with. So looking forward to that.
Awesome. Appreciate that, Anders. And for all 74 of you watching now, give Anders a follow on Twitter. Get yourself some love, get involved with the community,
Yeah.
and we will see you guys on the next one.
Yeah. Cheers.